Okay, show me a quiet hand. Good job. Okay, so today we're going to do a little bit of reading from our book, The One and Only Ivan. And we're also going to be working on cause and effect again. So remember that the cause is why and the effect is what happens. So we're going to talk about different events that happen in the story and how those relationships go together. Okay? How one caused the other to happen. Okay, so let's start on page 144. So 9,867 days. Ruby is finally asleep. I watch her chest rise and fall. Bob too is snoring, but my mind is still racing for perhaps the first time ever. I've been remembering. It's an odd story to remember, I have to admit. My story has a strange shape, a stunned beginning, and an endless middle. I count all the days I live with humans. Gorillas count as well as anyone, although it's not a particularly useful skill to have in the wild. I've forgotten so many things, and yet I always know precisely how many days I have been in my domain. I take one of the magic markers Julia gave me. I make an X, a small one, on my painted jungle wall. Robert, follow along, please. I make more X and more. I make an X for every day of my life with humans. My mark, my mark looks like this. Let me see the X's. The rest of the night, I mark the days, and when I am done, my wall looks like this, and so on, until there are 9,876 X's marching across my wall like a parade of ugly insects. Okay, so before we go to the next chapter, I want us to think of of, of Ivan getting the magic marker and then him drawing the X's. Okay, why was he doing that? I'm gonna use this. Jason.
Because to know how many days he has been with humans.
Good, yeah, to see how many days. And from him doing that, what happened? What did he find out? Zoe?
That that now he has like a wall and it's like a bunch of ugly insects. And now he found out that how long he's been with humans. And
Yeah,
he's now remembering what's happened in the past.
right. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next chapter. So, a visit. It was almost morning when I hear steps. It's Mac. He has a sharp smell. He leaves as he walks. He stands next to my domain. His eyes are red. He is staring out the window at the empty parking lot. Ivan, my man, he mumbles. Ivan. He pressed his forehead against the glass. We've been through a lot, you and me. Would you show me if you would agree? Would you agree with Matt that they've been through a lot together? Yeah, from what we've read, we've seen that, huh? We have evidence from the text that support that, huh? What is one thing that we know from the text that supports that they've been through a lot? Gabriel?
Um, from the text,
Yeah, from the text.
that he and Mac have been living in the house. And then he went to the big top mall, and then I forgot what the word.
And Aiden, can you finish that for him? He went to the top wall, and then what happened?
I was gonna say they've been through a lot together because Ivan was taken from his home, right? And Mac adopted him. And they went through the same things together.
Yeah, you're right. And Gabriel, you're also right too. You pulled some good evidence from the text, and so did you. That's the big thing that we know that we found out last time we read is that they lived together for this period of time. So we have evidence that support what he's saying that yeah, it is true. They've been through a lot together. So let's look at the next chapter, a new beginning. We don't see Mac for 2 days. When he returns, he doesn't talk about Stella. Max says he is anxious to teach Ruby some tricks. He says the billboard is bringing in more visitors. He says it's time for new beginnings. Rhonda, can you please follow along? All afternoon and into the evening, Mac works with Ruby. Ruby's feet are looped with rope so that she cannot run. A heavy chain hangs off her neck. Mac shows her Stella's ball, her pedestal, her stool. He introduces her to Snickers. When Ruby obeys Mac, he gives her a cube of sugar or a bit of dried apple. When she doesn't, he yells and kicks at the sawdust. When George and Julia arrive, Mac is still training Ruby. Julia sits on a bench and watches them. She draws a little, but mostly she keeps her eye on Ruby. Bob watches too. He's hiding in the corner of my domain under Not Tag. It's raining outside, and Bob does not like damp feet. Ruby trudges behind Mac, her head drooping. Endlessly, they circle the ring. Sometimes Mac slaps her flank with his hand. Suddenly, Ruby jerks to stop. Mac pulls the chain hard, but Ruby refuses to move. Come on, Ruby. Mac is almost pleading. What is your problem? She's exhausted, I said to myself. That's the problem. Mac groans. Idiot elephant. Idiot human, Bob mutters. Walk, Ruby, I say, although I knew she's too far away to hear me. Do what he says. Walk, Mac commands. Now. Ruby doesn't walk. She plops her rump on the sawdust floor. I think maybe she's tired, Julia says. Mac wipes his forehead with the back of his arm. Yeah, I know. We're all tired. He pushes Ruby with the heel of his boot. She ignores him. George looks over from the food court, where he is wiping off tables. Mac, he yells, maybe you should call it a day. I'll close up. Mac yanks on Ruby's chain. She's as anchored as a tree trunk, but he pulls harder and falls to his knees. That does it, Mac says. He brushes sawdust off his jeans. I am through playing around. Mac stomps off to his office. When he returns, he is carrying a long stick. The gleaming hook on its end is almost beautiful, like a silver moon. It's a claw stick. Mac pokes Ruby with the sharp point. Not hard, just a touch. I can tell he wants her to see how much it can hurt. I growl low in my throat. Ruby doesn't budge. She is a gray, unmoving boulder. She closes her eyes, and for a moment, I wonder if she might have fallen asleep. I'm warning you, Mac says. He breathes out. He stares at the ceiling. Ruby makes a huffing sound. Fine, Mac says. You want to play it this way? Okay. So what did Ruby do that caused Mac to go get the claw stick, Davina?
Because she wasn't moving.
Okay.
Maybe Mac was angry. Maybe she didn't want to move because Mac was being rude to her.
Mac was being rude to her, and how do you know that? From the text, and just by his actions, right? Sometimes the author may not tell us that he's angry, but the character's actions show us that, oh, they are angry by the things that they do, the things that they say. Matthew?
Because she was a moving boulder.
Yeah, she was a moving boulder. She wouldn't move because she was tired. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. He draws back the claw stick. No, Julia cries. I'm not going to hurt her, Mac says. I just want her attention. Bob snarls. Mac swings. The hook slices the air just a few inches above Ruby's head. So, see, why don't you want to mess with me? Mac says. He draws back the claw stick again. Now move. Ruby jerks her head, flinging her trunk towards Mac. She makes a noise that sends the sawdust scattering. It makes my glass shiver. It is the most beautiful mad I have ever heard. Ruby's trunk slaps into Mac. I don't see exactly where she strikes him. Somewhere below the stomach, I think. And I know he must be uncomfortable because Mac drops the claw stick and falls down on the ground and curls into a ball and howls like a baby. Direct hit, Bob says. Poor Mac. Mac groans. He stumbles to his feet and hobbles off towards his office. Ruby watches him leave. I can't read her expression. Is she afraid? Relieved? Proud? When Mac is gone, George and Julia lead Ruby from the ring. It's okay, baby. It's okay, Julia says, stroking Ruby's head. They settled Ruby in her domain and make sure she has fresh water and food. Before long, Ruby is dozing. Dad, Julia asks as George locks Ruby's iron door, do you think Mac would ever hurt Ruby? I don't think so, Jules, George says. At least I hope not. Maybe we should call someone. George scratches his chin. I wish I could help Ruby, but I wouldn't know how. I mean, who would I call? The elephant cops? Besides, that is kind of funny because he has a point. Like, who would he call? I mean, George looks down. I need this job, Jules. We need this job. Your mom, the doctor's bills. He kisses the top of Julia's head. Back to work, you and me both. Julia sighs and reaches for her backpack. She moves a piece of paper, a bottle of water, and a small metal box. Homework first, George says, wagging his finger. Then you can paint. It's for art class, Julia explained. We're doing watercolors. I'm going to paint Ruby. George smiles. All right then. Just don't forget your spelling. Dad, Julia asks again. Did you see Mac's face when Ruby hit him? George nods. Yes, he says solemnly. I did. He shakes his head. Poor Mac. He turns away, and only then do I hear him laughing. Okay, so we are going to stop there. Okay, so what I want you to do, what we're going to do next is we're going to work in our literature studies book, and we're going to look at some of the events that we talked about, and we're going to write how these events go together. Okay, so I'm going to dismiss you by table. So table 4, you may go back to your desk, and I want you guys to see how they model how to do that. Yes. Okay. Okay. Table 3, you may go back. Okay. Thank you, Harmony, for showing me a quiet hand. Okay. Yes, you may. Okay, table 2, you may go back. And table 4, you may go back. Table 4, if someone is sitting in your desk, you could go sit in their desk for the meantime, okay? Okay, so let's get up to table 1. Okay. Yes, Lilith. Yes, you may. Okay, show me a quiet hand. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna use the sticks. I'm gonna use the sticks to call on people. Okay, so the first why we're gonna look at is how we talked about Ivan taking the markers. So let's write that for our first one. So Ivan takes one of the markers. And painted. Oh, I'm sorry, and painted X's on his jungle wall. Okay, Natalia, for Ivan doing that, what happened? What was the result of him doing that?
I was gonna ask if like you can put it closer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me try to put it closer.
But what was the question again?
The question, Henry, was if that Ivan takes one of the markers that Julia gave him and painted X's on his jungle wall. So from him doing that, what happened from him doing that, putting the X's?
Because like he's been there for a very long time.
Yeah, he realized that he was there for a very long time. Okay, do we remember? Do we remember, Ethan, how long Ivan has been there? You can go back and look at the text because I know it was a big number. You could even just look at the chapter name because it does.
9,876.
Very good. You're right. That's exactly what it was. So it was 9,867. So we're gonna write like Natalia said. So we're gonna say he, or actually we shouldn't say he. We use the character's name. So Ivan realized he had. So is it he has been in his domain that long, or he has been or he's acted like a human that long? Davina?
How much days he's been in?
Yes, very good. Ivan realized he has been in his domain for 9,867 days. Very good. Yes, honey. Yes, you may. Okay, so that's gonna be our first. That's gonna be our first one. Okay. 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 For our next one, we're gonna talk. For the next one, we're gonna talk about how Bob called Mac an idiot human. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about from him saying that what happened that caused him to say that. So hold on, Ethan. Let's write it first, and then you can tell me, okay? So Bob called Mac an idiot human. Okay, Ethan. So why did that happen?
You made a mistake.
I made a mistake. Oh no, where did I make a mistake at?
On 9,876.
Oh, 76. Thank you. So let's fix that. So we'll just switch the numbers here. So thank you. Thank you for catching that. And like we say, we all make mistakes, even teachers, we make them too. Okay, let's see now. Gabriel, why did Bob say that?
He said that because Mac called Ruby
Mm-hmm.
and
because Mac called Ruby an idiot elephant. And was that nice that he did that? No, that wasn't nice at all. Called her. So I'm gonna add, Gabriel, what you said. So I'm gonna combine it, an idiot human, because Ruby was tired and didn't want to move. Okay. On the last one, so we're gonna do 3 today. So the last one that we're gonna talk about is that Mac commands Ruby to walk and she plops down on the sawdust floor. So she ignores Mac even after he yelled and tried to push her. And so what was the result? So from her doing that, what was the effect of that? Ethan?
Mac pulled down, marched to his office and pulled out the small sleeve.
Right, and I like how you used that from the text, that he marched to his office. Good job using the vocabulary. Okay, so we're gonna write that. Mac Ruby to walk. She plops herself refuses to move. And then we're gonna write down over here what Ethan said, that Mac marched to his office. Back to his office. And Ethan, can you please repeat that for me? So Mac marched back to his office.
Mac marched back to his office and then he brought out a small sleeve.
Very good. Okay, so Julia did ask a very interesting question at the end. Harmony, do you remember what that question is that she asked her dad, George? I'll give you a hint. It had to do with Mac doing something to Ruby. Do you need a little help? Eli?
Because Leah asked George if Mac was gonna hurt Ruby.
Yes. So she asked, do you think that he would do that? Okay. Eli, do you, from what you know of the story, in your opinion, and I would like for you to say it like that, in my opinion, I think, do you think Mac would hurt Ruby?
He would kind of like hate him so much and like
Yeah, he would probably have. So in your opinion, if she did hit him, he probably would. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this because I agree. I think math would. Okay, so show me a quiet hand. Thank you. Okay, so you are going to finish copying this. If you have finished already, you are going to bring it to me. I'm going to call you by table. If you are, remember. So I'm going to call you by table. You're going to show me your literature studies book. I'm going to check it really quick. And as you're waiting, you're going to be working on morning work, freckle, or seesaw. Okay? And if you're not done writing, it's up here for you that you can finish, okay? So let me start with table 1. If you are finished, bring me your literature study book, please. Thank you, Jason. Don't forget period.
I almost
Period. And period. Okay?
Do I have to come back?
No, honey.
I almost got all of them in my own notes.
Oh, you did. That's great. I like that. Okay, very good. Okay, table 2. If you are done, you may bring me your book. Okay, don't forget your periods, honey. Remember that.
Hello.
Hello.
I like
Okay, St. Pete Jude. Those periods, friend. Go put the periods.
This is yummy.
Yes, it's very yummy.
Yeah.
Okay, Matthew. Oh, you just remembered. Okay, table 3. You may come and bring me your book. Good, you can put it away. Hurt.